What if your online identity, your followers, your entire social graph wasn't owned by some giant corporation? It's a big question, and today we're going to dive into a protocol called Nostr. Now, this isn't some new app or service you sign up for. It's a really simple but powerful idea for a more open web, and honestly, it's been gaining some serious steam.
This quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? The dream of the early open internet has kind of morphed into these massive controlling platforms. You know what I'm talking about. Nostr isn't just some abstract idea. It's a direct shot at solving that very problem.
So before we can really appreciate the solution, we've got to take a hard look at the problem. Let's explore the current state of these so-called walled gardens.
And when you put it side by side like this, the difference is just night and day. On one side, you have the web we use every day, secret algorithms deciding what you see, censorship, and just an absolute flood of spam and bots. But on the other side is the vision Nostr is aiming for. You control your own feed, it's incredibly difficult to censor people by design, and verifiable identity becomes this amazing tool to fight back against all that spam.
Okay, so with that problem clearly framed, let's get into the specifics. What in the world is Nostr, really?
Well, the name itself is actually an acronym. It stands for Notes and Other Stuff Transmitted by Relays. But the most crucial thing to understand is that it's a protocol. Think about it like HTTP. That's the fundamental language web browsers and servers use to talk to each other. You don't sign up for HTTP, you just use it. Nostr wants to be that same kind of basic foundational layer, but for social data.
At its core, Nostr is built on three really important ideas. First, it's simple. So simple that anyone can build new apps on top of it without a huge team. Second, it's resilient. This means there's no single company or server that can just shut the whole thing down. And finally, it's verifiable. It uses well-known cryptography to prove you are who you say you are without you ever having to hand over an email or create a password.
All right, so that's the big picture of what it is. But now for the fun part. How does it actually work? Let's break down the three fundamental pieces of the puzzle: clients, keys, and relays.
First up, the client. The easiest way to think about this, it's just the app you use. On Twitter, you use the Twitter app, right? On Nostr, you can choose from dozens of different apps. Maybe you've heard of Damus or Iris. But they all tap into the exact same underlying network. You get to pick the experience and the interface that you like best.
Next, you've got relays. You can think of these as the backbone of the whole system. A relay is just a really simple server that stores messages and then sends them out to whoever asks. But here's the massive difference. You get to choose which relays your client connects to. You can connect to just one, or you can connect to 100. This is where the control really shifts back to the user.
And finally, maybe the most important piece of all, your public key. This is a total game changer. Your key is your identity. It's not a username that a platform owns and can take away from you. It's a cryptographic key that you, and only you, control. And that means your identity, your followers, all your content, it's all yours to take with you no matter what app you use. You can't be deplatformed from the protocol itself.
You know, this can all sound a little abstract, so let's make it super concrete. We'll walk through a simple example with three people, Alice, Bob, and Mary, to see how their individual choices totally shape their own social network.
Okay, so here's the setup. It's pretty straightforward. Alice and Bob are both connected to the same server. We'll call it Relay 2. They send their messages there. Mary, on the other hand, she posts her messages to a completely different server, Relay 3. But, and here's the key part, she tells her client app to read messages from Relay 2.
Given that setup, let's just pause for a second. Who do you think can see whose messages? This is where the power of a decentralized network really starts to click.
Okay, so here's how it all shakes out. Because Alice and Bob are only connected to Relay 2, they can see each other's posts perfectly fine, but they have literally no idea that Mary even exists. Meanwhile, Mary, since she's reading from Relay 2, can see everything Alice and Bob are posting. So her social world includes them, but their world doesn't include her. The big takeaway here is that your reality on the network is defined entirely by the relays you choose to connect to.
Now, if you look under the hood, every single thing you do on Nostr, a post, a like, a profile update, is called an event. It's basically just a simple little package of data. It has the sender's public key, the actual content, and most importantly, a cryptographic signature. That SIG is the mathematical proof that the person who owns that public key is the one who actually sent the message. It's what makes the whole thing verifiable.
Now, this super simple structure also allows for something else, something really, really cool. A way to send value directly from one user to another, built right into the protocol. It's a feature they call zaps.
So what exactly is a zap? Well, put simply, they're tiny payments, or tips. They're sent over the Bitcoin Lightning Network. This isn't like sticking a Buy Me a Coffee link in your bio that takes people to another website. This is a native feature built right in that lets you send value directly to other people almost instantly with virtually no fees. And here's a fun little Easter egg for the tech nerds out there. I love this. The kind number for a Zap event is 9735. And that number wasn't picked at random. It's the exact same number as the default network port that the Lightning Network itself uses. A pretty cool little nod to the tech that makes it all possible. Now, this whole process might look a little complicated on screen, but you have to understand, this all happens in like a second. It's basically your app having a super fast automated chat with the receiver's app to create and pay a Bitcoin Lightning invoice. And the coolest part, when it's all done, it broadcasts a public note back to the network, making that flow of value a visible part of the public conversation. Okay, so let's zoom back out. We've looked at the different parts, how they all work together, and some of the unique features. What does this all add up to? Well, it's potentially a return to a more open, decentralized web. So when you put it all together, what does Nostr really unlock? Well, because it's so flexible, it's not just for short social media posts. It could be for long-form articles, e-commerce, anything. Its verifiability gives us a powerful new weapon against bots. The whole network of relays makes it incredibly censorship-resistant. And of course, zaps open up completely new business models for creators to get paid directly by their audience, without needing advertisers as the middleman. And that really leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? Is this simple open protocol truly the first step toward tearing down the walls of the centralized web? Now, whether it can actually become a real alternative to the corporate-controlled social media we all use today, well, that's still an open question. But it is one of the most fascinating developments to watch in this space. Thanks for exploring it with us.